watching a video of people going into the somatic experience to process anything that comes up, or really to be curious about anything that comes up. As I'm doing that with them, I wanted to see. I do this with my therapist also. We're past the talking stuff. We talk a little, but most of our work is somatic. And he stays present with me and keeps me accountable and helps with questions toward whatever part is expressing whatever's coming up, I guess. So it helps me picture that I'm some version of being kept accountable, whether I'm following along with the video or sitting with a facilitator. Even though you can't really see in this light. I don't know. I wanted to see my face, I guess. It's one more dissociation, probably. It's a distraction, but it just came to me. I've been both supported by facilitators in the and I've been overwhelmed in my practical life with work not letting up and my daughter and her dad in a disagreement over where she should be for the summer. And I'm back in the dating world, and that's interesting. I'm being very intentional about what comes up around that and how it is held and allowed to, again, kind of taking somatic time to sit with like every text that comes in from a guy that I'm getting to know, the way that my body reacts to it, and just giving that space and sitting with it, the fear, the excitement, the dread of screwing up and saying the wrong thing. So I'm really piling it on when it comes to experience. It's a full life, and it's spring and the yard and the wind and the weather and summer, winter dynamic in Colorado, and really everywhere it sounds like it does this now. The weather. In so many places. I don't know if I'm going to post this, but that's a funny, silly thing to say out loud. And because I'd be breaking my fast, my sworn video fast, posting fast. It's interesting how things move through. The question would be, why am I posting? maybe that's not a question at all. It just happens. I love Zubin's expression around that, where it's just like, this is happening. There doesn't need to be a reason, and there doesn't need to be a story around. Like, is there attention seeking? And any of that can be felt into too, where if there is attention seeking, you can sit with it and say, okay, where's that felt? It's been an interesting time of somatically processing, but I still am I am still looking into and living with avoidance patterns and distraction and fear, and I'm tuning into it. And that's what the therapy is kind of helping with, is tuning into that stuff somatically and asking it. What it's doing. I would link to the video that I'm processing with, but it's like a members only. I guess I might still link to it because you might become a member and check it out, but I don't know, maybe not, because those videos are there's a community around them, because they are specifically members of a community that understand how it works, and it can be a very vulnerable space. So I don't want to be emboldening people who are not already in the Simply Always Awake crowd to sign up to be part of the community just to watch this video, because that would be, feels inappropriate. I'm in my basement, and there's like a purple lamp here that I lights the way. It's Friday night. And I'm really sitting with what comes up when I'm this video is one that's on like a playlist for me, I guess. Might not be true, but anyway, I've seen it a few times, and there are just descriptions of non-dual experience and feeling into the body and the coming up of emotion, or there's very direct descriptions that phase me into somatically dissolving state, things, words. So I'm kind of just there. It's better than video games, which is a little bit of what I've been doing tonight. Still eating too much. Still, video reeling. It actually got wrapped up today. I don't know if it's work exactly. I don't know. Feels like, yeah. It's fun to frame things into a story of approach, but it's not my job. I had an interesting conversation with a friend where he was like, I'm getting all these signs and, seeing 1111 everywhere and things like that. But I don't know if I believe all this interconnectedness stuff. And I said to him, you don't have to believe anything. Other people can believe, and it doesn't have to be a reason to question or to lean into belief, because belief is not the point. If something feels like a sign, or you're walking a path, you keep walking. You don't have to formulate any models. Because there are a lot of people who consider themselves to be very spiritual, and they love talking about this stuff, and you can see that all of that talking and conjecture and big words, all the cards and the stars and all the things that they know, the more talking that's happening, the more you can see that they are dissociating from getting in there. They're telling beautiful stories, but they're not walking the path. They're not dipping into the self. They just keep painting on more layers of the story. And then there's people who don't know any of the terminology or the story, who are just walking, and they know how to be still and quiet. And exposed. And feel things. Because it can be scary. It can seem confident. It can be confident and scared at the same time. I feel like sharing with you guys some of how I feel around this relationship stuff that I'm throwing myself into. No, it just slipped out the window the moment I said it. There's such a potential for exposure when it comes to just being a bozo and being hyper and saying all the wrong things and being too excited, and worst of all, objectifying. And creating a narrative around being with whoever I'm in touch with. I don't want to do any of that. And it's tricky when texting is most of the interaction, because we're both busy and we have kids. And, because texting, it really... where I feel like I can grow and really pick up the truth around what's happening is when I'm in person with someone. And the more interaction there is outside of that, the more it kind of messes with me. Because I can't see the person's face or body language, so I don't know how to, I want to be in tune with this person, and that's way harder in a text. And I want to be very, very gentle, because I can be very can dive too deep sometimes, or be very explicit, or very touchy-feely when, that's not the thing. I want to be sensitive to this person's sensibilities, but then also be authentic in myself, but not overbearing. Anyway, as I'm talking, I notice my anxiety and my getting revved up around it and what I want, There's all of that, and there's also the letting go of any of that control and how I show up. Because this is all very new to me, and I don't have a very good history. I was going to say I suck at it. I don't think I suck at it, but I'm just new to being intuitive with someone, and I want to be the kind of patience that I want from someone else. I want to be patient, and when I get going, patience is not what shows up. What shows up is, I don't know, scattered, reactive excitement that can be so overwhelming that people are like, need a break. And I don't want to be overwhelming. And if I'm honest, there is also the aspect of having it be something exciting that I'd rather be doing than, work or cleaning up or being with myself and sitting quietly in stillness. But that's what I want to do with him, is sit quietly in stillness. Because it's such a potentially charged space that it's something to process, but it's also a connection with someone, and how to be with myself and with him at the same time. But not be super intense. Anyway. I don't know if I'm going to post this, because I like keeping my promise of not posting stuff, but I also don't want to be, when something flows, to stagnate it is also not a thing. But there's also something to be said with sitting with the urge to do something and seeing if it's a true flow or if it's a distraction. And in this case, I can't honestly say that it's not a solid dose of I don't even know how to finish that sentence. And it might be unusable because I'm so quiet and it's so dark. My kid keeps not wanting to hang out with me. I keep checking in with her. Like, hey, you want to do something? And I found that forcing that, especially if I'm meditating, or doing something somatic, and being with myself as an alternative, it feels like it's okay and it's alright to just rest. And for her to just rest and get a break from mom. Things are definitely moving through, which is cool. I love that it's surprising every time that I have a therapy session and we dip into somatic sitting. It's surprising the things that come up, the energies that want to be heard or seen. And he kind of helps me keep them in view, I guess. Sometimes everything feels fine, but there's still a heaviness here. And a lot of sometimes it's a restless energy. That'd be interesting to tap into with him. Because the restless energy, when there's no facilitator in front of me, like tonight this is happening, it's way better at finding distraction. Because sitting with it it's a lot more difficult. It's squirmy. And one of its tricks is to convince that it's no big deal. That it doesn't really need to be seen or heard. It's like, oh, whatever, this is just jitteriness. Because when we were kids, it was discounted, dismissed. Sit still, calm down. But there might, when you let it be what it is, and say, I'm just going to sit here with you. No agenda. It can be a really powerful opening, and it can be scary and disorienting. And right now, as I'm saying this, the jitteriness is expanding in my body and also concentrating in my forehead. It's like it's mad. This is what I might do more with these videos, is actually do something like what I do with my therapist, where I'm sitting but also a little bit describing and maybe probing with questions. But there's definitely something unfolding. I was going to turn this off, but there's a lot unfolding here. Like branches of a tree, or scaffolding, or framing. It's almost like the jitteriness is an energy that says, you need me, because I create the frame, both physical and the frame of reference for you to move in the world. And without me, you are disoriented. But I know disorientation already. I know what it feels like. So I can tell this mechanism to rest. that I'm okay with it being here, but its services are not cardinal to survival as much as it thinks it does. That it holds me, but I can hold it instead. And there's a heat that comes with that. That's in my stomach. Like a burner that got turned on. Now everything's burning down. All the wooden scaffolding is folding into a fire. Might do like a somatic series. We'll see if maybe this is the first of a somatic series. So that I can do this even more. Because there's a lot of parts in here that still have something to say. And I've been kind of on a rep path, meeting with a therapist twice a week now, to really give an ear to what's burning in here. There's a lot going on. My kid's making moves. I might need to give her something healthy before she goes to bed or eats the entire kitchen of I don't know what. I don't want to leave. This is really nice. Okay. Good to talk to you guys again. We'll see what happens.